Restaurants charge $25 or more for Amish meals you could easily make at home for under $3, and they definitely don't want you to know their secret. Stick around, because today I'm uncovering 30 of the most delicious old-fashioned Amish recipes that can save you hundreds on groceries, while giving you meals that taste better than any restaurant plate. Hey friends, I just spent the last couple of weeks in Amish country, talking with home cooks, flipping through handwritten cookbooks that are over a century old, and, yes, even sneaking into a few church potlucks. And what I found was shocking. There's an entire hidden world of hearty, dirt-cheap, flavour-packed meals that have been feeding families for generations, while restaurants repackage them for 10 times the price. In this video, I'll share 30 legendary Amish recipes most Americans have never even heard of. Some are so rare they're only passed down by word of mouth. From breakfast bakes to secret pies, you'll see why Amish food isn't just delicious. It's a game changer for anyone tired of overpriced, underwhelming meals. And trust me, recipe number 17 might be the most comforting thing you'll ever taste. 1. Shoefly pie breakfast. Bake. You've never had breakfast like this before. Imagine your favourite molasses cookie meeting a fluffy egg casserole. That's the Shoefly pie breakfast bake. Sweet, sticky, and smelling like a bakery at sunrise. Amish families often serve it on cold mornings right after chores like milking the cows. And guess what? It takes just 10 minutes to prep. Crack a few eggs, whisk in milk, molasses, and warm spices. Then pour it all over crumbled cake or bread. Bake until it's golden and bubbling, and you've got pure comfort on the table in under half an hour. Diners charge $14 for this kind of farmhouse special, but at home you can make the real deal for less than $5. No tricks, no expensive ingredients, just honest food that warms the kitchen and your soul. The top comes out crisp, the inside stays soft, and one bite will remind you what breakfast used to mean. 2. Egg foo young casserole. Forget greasy takeout, this Amish twist is better. Their version of egg foo young is baked into a cosy casserole made with fluffy eggs, browned ground pork, and caramelized onions, all smothered in rich, homemade gravy. There's no soy sauce, no bean sprouts, no complicated steps, just simple farm ingredients layered together like a warm hug. It bakes until the top is golden, with the edges turning just a little crispy. You'll often see this at church breakfasts, where people always go back for seconds. Some folks call it a breakfast lasagna. But honestly, that doesn't do it justice. It's heartier, homier, and feeds the whole family for about $6 total. Compare that to diners charging $13 for something they call country strata. The Amish were doing it first, and doing it better. The best part? You can prep it the night before, bake it in the morning, and have leftovers that taste just as good the next day. 3. Buttered coffee oatmeal. The Amish don't need fancy lattes or cappuccinos to start the day. They swear by a bowl of buttered coffee oatmeal. It sounds unusual, but trust me, once you try it, you'll never go back. Steel-cut oats are simmered slow with strong coffee, a spoonful of real butter, and a dash of cinnamon. The coffee doesn't make it bitter. It adds a deep, earthy warmth, almost like maple. The butter makes it rich and creamy. No sugar needed. It's the kind of breakfast that sticks with you until lunch. No crashes, no hunger pangs, just steady fuel for hard work. Diners serve plain oatmeal for $9, but this costs just pennies a bowl and tastes twice as good. Plus, the smell of coffee, butter, and cinnamon will literally pull everyone out of bed. Kids love it. Grown-ups crave it. It's warmth and energy in a bowl. 4. Dutch baby pancake. If Sunday mornings had a flavour, this would be it. The Amish Dutch baby pancake is pure magic, fluffy, golden, and ready in 20 minutes. No yeast, no sourdough starter, no overnight waiting. It's just 3 simple ingredients: eggs, flour, and milk. Whisk them up, pour into a sizzling hot cast iron skillet with melting butter, and watch it puff up like a souffle in the oven. The edges come out crispy, the middle is soft and custardy. Restaurants charge $15 for this gourmet brunch, but the Amish whip it up on weeknights for under $3. They top it with sautéed apples, fresh berries, or just a drizzle of maple syrup. Honestly, it doesn't even need powdered sugar. The buttery crust is sweet enough. It looks impressive, but it's literally one bowl, one pan, and done. Kids gasp when they see it rise, and guests think you spent hours. But nope, 20 minutes, and you're a breakfast hero. 5. Ham and egg roll-ups. Got leftover ham? Don't waste it. The Amish turn scraps into magic. These ham and egg roll-ups are golden, flaky, and perfect for busy mornings. Here's how they do it. Wrap a piece of ham, a slice of cheese, and a wedge of hard-boiled egg in simple bread dough. Roll it up, bake for 20 minutes, and out comes a crispy, warm pocket of flavour. Think of them like Amish breakfast burritos, only better. No tortillas, no sogginess, just soft bread, smoky ham, and melted cheese in every bite. They're served at barn raisings, school lunches, and after Sunday service. The real genius? You can freeze them, make a double batch on the weekend, wrap them up, and reheat whenever you need a quick grab-and-go breakfast. Diners charge $12 for artisan breakfast rolls, but Amish cooks feed a whole family for under $2 a batch. 6. Amish chicken and dumplings forget canned soups. This is chicken and dumplings the real way. The Amish start by simmering a whole chicken with onions, celery, and fresh herbs. No shortcuts, no bouillon cubes, just patience and time. After hours of gentle cooking, the chicken falls apart, tender and juicy. The broth turns golden, rich, and deeply flavourful, the kind of smell that fills the whole house. Then come the dumplings, soft, pillowy dough dropped right into the bubbling pot, soaking up all that flavour. This dish has been a staple at Amish tables for generations because it stretches one chicken into a meal that feeds the whole family. Restaurants might sell it as a $20 rustic country stew, but at home you can make a massive pot for under $8. It's warm, filling, and the kind of comfort food that makes people instantly feel at home. And this is where the magic happens. The dumplings. Not store-bought noodles, not shortcuts, but real dough balls made with flour, milk, and just a pinch of salt. They're dropped straight into the bubbling broth, the pot is covered, and then the waiting begins. 20 minutes later, out come dumplings so big and pillowy you could almost bounce one off the table. They're tender inside, slightly firm outside, and bursting with the flavour of that golden chicken broth. One bite, and you'll understand why Amish chicken and dumplings are comfort food royalty. Most restaurants serve a watery version with tiny dumplings and bland broth. But the Amish version? It's hearty, filling, and enough to keep you going for hours. It's the meal they bring to grieving families, to new mums, or to anyone who needs healing. And here's the kicker. A whole pot that feeds 8 people costs less than $8. The smell of warm chicken, herbs, and fresh dough will pull everyone straight to the table. No need for sides. This isn't just dinner, it's a full hug in a bowl. 7. Dilled cucumber salad. Now let's cool things down with a side dish that takes just 10 minutes and 5 ingredients. Thinly sliced cucumbers, a splash of vinegar, a spoonful of sugar, fresh dill from the garden, and a pinch of celery seed. That's it. Toss it all together, let it rest for a little while, and the flavours come alive. The cucumbers stay crisp but soak up that tangy sweet dressing. The dill gives it a fresh, earthy kick that makes it taste like summer in a bowl. Restaurants sell tiny jars of this stuff at farm-to-table bistros for $8, but the Amish make big bowls for pennies. No fancy plating, no garnish. Just pure, refreshing food. They'll keep a container of it in the fridge all week during cucumber season, and the flavour only gets better the longer it sits. It's a favourite at church picnics, Sunday suppers, and family dinners, balancing out heavier dishes like fried chicken or roast beef. Even picky eaters sneak second helpings. No heat, no cooking, no mess, just slice, mix, chill, and serve. 8. Pork and sauerkraut soup. This one might surprise you. Pork and sauerkraut soup. At first smell, it's strong, smoky, and sour. But one spoonful and you'll get it. The Amish swear by this soup, especially on New Year's Day, claiming it brings good luck and keeps you healthy all year. It starts with leftover pork, shoulder or roast, chopped and browned in a pot. Then comes the sauerkraut, not the vinegary canned stuff, but homemade fermented kraut from big crocks. That's what gives it its tang and gut-friendly probiotics. They add onions, caraway seeds, and sometimes potatoes or carrots. Then it all simmers low and slow until the pork is tender, the kraut softens, and the broth turns into a deep, savoury magic. You won't see this on many restaurant menus, and when you do, it's usually $15 and watered down. The Amish version costs under $6 and fills the whole house with a smell that pulls everyone to the kitchen. Serve it with rye bread or buttered noodles, and you've got a winter meal that warms you to the bones. Older folks say it's the secret to their strength into their 80s. Maybe they're onto something. 9. Buttered noodles with brown onions. This one's almost too simple to believe. Just 3 ingredients: egg noodles, real butter, and onions. But when done right, it becomes one of the most loved Amish side dishes ever. The noodles are boiled until tender, then tossed in a hot pan with plenty of butter until they glisten. Meanwhile, onions are cooked low and slow until they turn golden brown and sweet. No rushing, no shortcuts. The caramelized onions are what make this dish sing. That's it. No herbs, no cheese, no extras. Just butter, noodles, and onions done perfectly. And yet, it shows up at nearly every Amish gathering, potlucks, funerals, church meals. Always in a big bowl, always gone before the night's over. Diners try to dress it up, calling it brown butter noodle medley, and charging $10 for a tiny portion. The real Amish version costs less than $3 and can feed a crowd. It goes with everything: roast chicken, pork chops, or just a glass of milk on a tired night. It's simple food that feels like a hug on a plate. 10. Baked applesauce. Forget the jar from the store. This is Amish baked applesauce. Real, rustic, and made with only 3 things: apples, butter, and cinnamon. They'll use whatever apples are ripe: Macintosh, Jonathan's, even windfalls from the orchard, peeled, cored, and sliced, then piled into a Dutch oven. A sprinkle of cinnamon, a spoon of butter, and that's it. No sugar, no water, just slow baking for 2 hours until the apples collapse into their own sweet, fragrant sauce. As it bakes, the house fills with a smell so cosy your neighbours might actually knock on the door to see what's cooking. Kids run to the kitchen. Even the dog sits by the oven. It's that irresistible. The result isn't smooth like store applesauce. It's chunky, soft, and warm, with little bits of baked apple. Eat it hot, cold, or spoon it right from the bowl. It pairs beautifully with pork chops, pancakes, or just on its own. Most store-bought applesauce has preservatives and extra sugar. This Amish version costs pennies, lasts a week in the fridge, and tastes like pure autumn in a dish. Some families double the batch and can it for winter, but honestly, it rarely lasts that long. 11. Amish chicken pot pie. No crust. Now this one might throw you off. Amish chicken pot pie without a crust. Yes, it's real, and yes, it's even better. Instead of pastry, the focus is all on the creamy, golden filling. Leftover roast chicken is pulled off the bone, and combined with carrots, celery, peas, and onions. Everything simmers together in a buttery sauce made from flour, chicken broth, and milk until it's thick, rich, and bubbling. Then it's baked until golden, with a top that gets slightly caramelized. It's hearty, filling, and a whole lot easier than fussing with dough. For the Amish, this isn't a special occasion dish. It's a practical way to turn leftovers into something comforting and new. Restaurants might serve it for $18 a plate, but the Amish make enough to feed an entire family for under $7. It's the kind of dish that makes you close your eyes after the first bite. Creamy, savoury, and straight-up soul food. No cans, no shortcuts, just real ingredients stirred by hand. Once the filling is thick and steamy, it gets poured into a deep casserole dish and baked until it's golden and bubbling. No top crust, no soggy bottom, just pure hearty comfort food. As it bakes, the edges bubble. The top forms a light golden skin, and the smell fills the house with that Sunday dinner magic. Most restaurants serve the pastry version for $18, but let's be honest, half of that plate is just dry crust. With this Amish version, every bite is packed with flavour. It's the dish that shows up when a new baby arrives, when families face hard times, or on long winter nights when everyone just needs something warm. Some Amish cooks add potatoes, or even spread mashed potatoes on top, turning it into a whole new dish. And here's the beauty. No baking skills, no fancy tools. Just a pot, a spoon, and a little love. 12. Funeral pie. Don't let the name spook you. Funeral pie isn't about death. It's about love, comfort, and community. In Amish country, this deep dish triple-layer fruit pie shows up at births, weddings, barn raisings, and, yes, funerals. Anytime people gather, this pie makes an appearance. It starts with a buttery, flaky crust, then a layer of tart rhubarb sweetened just right. On top of that, sour cherries, juicy and bold. And finally, slices of apple spiced with cinnamon and nutmeg. 3 layers of fruit baked together until the crust is golden and the filling bubbles up in tangy, sweet perfection. The flavours swirl together, warm, rich, surprising, yet familiar. It's not on diner menus, but in Amish homes, it's a tradition. The name funeral pie comes from its purpose. It's always there when it matters most. It feeds a crowd, keeps well for days, and travels easily in a tin. Families have their own spin. Some add more cherry, others use a crumb topping. But the heart of it stays the same. Simple fruit, real butter, and care. One slice with a glass of cold milk, and you'll understand. It's not just dessert, it's comfort, connection, and a little sweetness when people need it most. 13. Shoefly pie. Now this one is pure Amish magic. Shoefly pie isn't just dessert, it's molasses baked into memory. It begins with a flaky crust. On top goes a gooey, dark molasses mixture made with nothing more than molasses, warm water, and baking soda. As it bakes, a hand-mixed crumb topping of flour, sugar, and cold butter is sprinkled over the top. No eggs, no fuss, just layers of sticky sweet goodness. Some people like wet-bottom Shoefly pie where the molasses stays syrupy and rich. Others prefer dry bottom, baked longer so it sets firmer. Either way, the result jiggles like pudding and tastes like warm spice and nostalgia. This pie isn't a rare treat, it's a daily staple. Kids beg for corner slices, grandparents enjoy thin wedges after church, and it even shows up at breakfast with a glass of cold milk. It keeps on the counter for days, gets better with time, and costs less than $4 to make. Restaurants sell imitations under names like molasses crumb tart, but they're missing the soul. Real Shoefly pie smells like cinnamon, molasses, and butter, the kind of aroma that pulls people into the kitchen before it's even cool enough to cut. 14. Beef and noodle casserole. This is the dish Amish kids secretly hope there are leftovers of. Imagine pot roast and mac and cheese had a cosy farmhouse baby. That's beef and noodle casserole. It starts with shredded beef, slow cooked until it falls apart. That gets mixed with wide egg noodles and smothered in homemade gravy made from butter, flour and broth. No canned soup here, just real cooking. Then it's layered into a deep casserole dish, topped with buttery breadcrumbs and baked until golden. The top comes out crisp, the noodles below are soft and rich, and the whole thing smells so good it pulls people to the table before you can set it down. Restaurants rebrand it as braised beef gratin or artisan noodle bake for $18 a plate. But the real Amish version costs less than $10 and feeds 6 people easily. It's usually made on Sundays after church, using leftover roast from the night before. And leftovers? Sacred. Kids ask for them in their lunchboxes, and many say it tastes even better reheated the next day. Simple, hearty, soul-satisfying. That's Amish comfort food at its best. 15. Sugar cream pie. Also called Indiana cream pie, this dessert is proof that you don't need much to make something unforgettable. It starts with a golden pie crust. The filling is nothing fancy, just sugar, cream, flour, vanilla, and a dash of nutmeg. No eggs, no butter in the filling, and no complicated steps. Everything is cooked gently on the stove until smooth and glossy, then poured into the crust to set. As it cools, a delicate caramelized skin forms on top, giving it a slight bite before the creamy sweetness underneath. The nutmeg takes it over the edge, adding warmth to every spoonful. It's rich, but not heavy. Sweet, but not too sweet. The kind of pie you can eat a big slice of and still feel light. Amish families make it for church suppers, weddings, and holiday tables. Some call it desperation pie because it uses pantry basics when fruit isn't available. But don't be fooled. This pie is no backup plan. It's the star of the table. It costs less than $5, keeps for days, and somehow disappears before you even notice. Kids sneak bites before dinner. Grandparents pair it with strong coffee, and one spoonful will make you wonder why every pie isn't this simple, this sweet, and this good. 16. Amish friendship bread. You've probably heard of this one. Amish friendship bread isn't just food, it's tradition. A sweet, soft loaf that travels from kitchen to kitchen like a secret handshake. It starts with a starter, a living mixture of flour, sugar, milk, and yeast that gets shared between friends and neighbours. Each person takes the starter, feeds it for a few days, then bakes it into loaves while passing part of it along to someone else. That's where the name comes from. Every loaf has a story. Every slice has a connection. The bread itself is moist, sweet, and often flavoured with cinnamon and vanilla. Some families toss in raisins, nuts, or chocolate chips. It's the kind of bread you can eat plain with coffee, toast with butter, or serve as dessert. But the real magic is the sharing. It's not just about baking, it's about building community. In Amish country, friendship bread keeps neighbours close and traditions alive. And once you taste it, you'll understand why this loaf has been passed down for generations. 17. Amish cinnamon crumb coffee cake. This isn't just a cake, it's a warm hug baked in a pan. Amish coffee cake is the kind of recipe that fills a house with comfort before the first cup of coffee is even poured. It starts with a simple scratch batter: flour, sugar, eggs, butter, and vanilla. No shortcuts, no cake mixes. Then comes the magic: a thick ribbon of cinnamon sugar swirled right through the middle, sometimes with chopped nuts or raisins for a little extra bite. On top goes the star: a crumb topping made from flour, brown sugar, cold butter, and cinnamon, crumbled by hand until it looks like wet sand. As it bakes, the top turns golden and crunchy while the inside stays soft and tender. The smell of warm cinnamon fills the air and makes the whole house feel alive. This is the cake you'll find at Amish breakfasts, church suppers, and school bake sales. It's eaten warm with coffee or cold milk, and it somehow tastes even better the next day. Restaurants charge $12 for a slice of something similar, but a homemade Amish pan feeds a whole family for under $6. Some families even double the crumb topping. Because why not? More crumbs, more smiles. It's not just dessert. It's tradition. It's comfort. It's joy baked into every bite. 18. Amish buttermilk biscuits with lard, yes. The Amish use lard in their biscuits, and that's exactly why they're unforgettable. Lard has a higher melting point than butter, so when the biscuits hit the hot oven, they rise tall, golden, and flaky. The outside turns crisp while the inside stays soft and steamy, almost melting in your hand when you break one open. These biscuits are made with just a handful of ingredients: flour, salt, baking powder, cold buttermilk, and fresh pork lard. The trick is in the technique: cold hands, a light touch, and no over-kneading. Work the dough too much and the biscuits turn tough. The Amish know to move quickly, cut clean circles, and bake right away. Fresh from the oven, they're life-changing. Spread one with honey for sweet comfort, or smother it in sausage gravy for the ultimate hearty breakfast. They show up at every Amish meal, alongside soup, with jam, or just split open with a pat of butter. Most diners sell a basket of home-style biscuits for $9, but they're usually made from mix. Real Amish biscuits cost pennies, take 20 minutes, and disappear faster than you can bake them. Kids fight over the last one. Adults save the crumbs, and the smell alone is pure nostalgia. No shame in lard. It's the secret to biscuits the way they were always meant to be. 19. Amish molasses cookies. Soft, chewy, and spiced just right. Amish molasses cookies are the opposite of the dry, store-bought kind. These are baked fresh year-round, not just during Christmas. It all begins with dark molasses, thick and rich, giving the cookies their deep sweetness and chewy texture. Butter, sugar, and eggs are added, along with flour. But the real magic is in the spices: warm ginger, a pinch of cloves, and a little cinnamon. The dough is rolled into small balls, pressed gently, and baked until the edges are crisp, but the centres stay soft and tender. One bite, and they pull apart like a soft hug for your taste buds. You'll find them sitting in tins on Amish kitchen counters, packed in paper bags for work, or served with a glass of cold milk after school. No fancy packaging, just love in every bite. Bakeries charge $3 each for cookies they label Heritage Spice Gems, but Amish molasses cookies cost just pennies and are made in big batches. They taste even better the next day, freeze beautifully, and need nothing more than a wooden spoon, a bowl, and some care. Some families add oats or nuts, but the classic version is always soft, spiced, and unforgettable. 20. Zucchini bread with cheese. Now, here's a surprise. Zucchini bread with cheese. Yes, cheese. And not just any cheese, sharp cheddar. At first, it sounds a little wild, but one bite and you'll get it. The sweetness of brown sugar, the warmth of cinnamon and nutmeg, and the soft crumb of fresh zucchini all wrapped around gooey, tangy cheddar that melts into little golden pockets. It's sweet and savoury at the same time, comforting, surprising, and completely addictive. The Amish make it in the summertime when zucchinis grow as big as your arm and pile up on the porch. Instead of letting them go to waste, they grate them, squeeze out the water, and fold them into a rich batter with flour, eggs, oil, sugar, and spices. Then comes the secret: an entire cup of sharp cheddar cheese. Some even sneak in a touch of onion or garlic powder for extra depth. The loaf bakes up golden with a crisp crust that crackles when you tap it. Slice it warm, and the cheese threads through the moist crumb like melted sunshine. It works for breakfast, lunch, or an afternoon snack. Diners would charge $10 for a gourmet vegetable loaf, But this costs just a few dollars and feeds a crowd. Kids love it, adults can't stop eating it, and neighbours always beg for the recipe. It keeps for days, freezes beautifully, and somehow tastes even better the next morning. In Amish kitchens, this isn't a gimmick, it's tradition. Once you taste it, you'll never question the cheese again. You'll just wonder how to keep the loaf from disappearing in one sitting. 21. Haystack casserole. If you want to know what Amish comfort food looks like, meet the Haystack casserole. Imagine ground beef, corn, green beans, a mountain of tater tots, and plenty of melted cheese, all baked together until golden and bubbly. It's the kind of meal that shows up at church suppers, school, gatherings, or busy weeknights when no one has time for fussy cooking. It starts with browned beef seasoned with onion, salt, and pepper. Then comes corn, fresh, frozen, or canned, doesn't matter, and tender green beans. A simple gravy made with milk and broth ties it together. But the real star is the topping. A full layer of crispy tater tots piled high, finished with a shower of cheddar cheese. As it bakes, the tots turn crunchy, the filling bubbles at the edges, and the cheese melts into a golden, gooey crust. It's hearty, affordable, and guaranteed to please kids and adults alike. The whole pan costs under $10 to make and easily feeds 8 hungry mouths. Meanwhile, restaurants serve a loaded tot bake for double the price. But Amish families have been enjoying it for decades without the fancy name. The best part? It reheats well, freezes even better, and leaves almost no cleanup. No tricks, no showmanship, just a big, filling dish that brings everyone to the table and makes you forget about takeout. And when that smell of crispy tots hits the kitchen, you'll know dinner isn't just ready, it's irresistible. 22. Snits pie. Now let's talk about a true Amish treasure, snits pie. Snits is the old Amish word for dried apples, peeled, cored, and left to slowly dry in warm kitchens or sunny barns until they're leathery, chewy, and rich with flavour. And when those apples are turned into pie, magic happens. Snits pie is nothing like your regular apple pie. It's darker, deeper, and more intense. The dried apples are soaked overnight in water or cider, plumping back up and releasing a tart, almost wine-like flavour. They're layered into a buttery crust with cinnamon, cloves, and sometimes a squeeze of lemon juice to brighten it up. As it bakes, the fruit breaks down into a thick, jammy filling that clings to your fork while the crust turns golden and flaky. The smell is pure autumn, like hay, wood smoke, and spice swirling together in the air. You won't find snits pie in most restaurants because it's too old-fashioned, too tied to Amish tradition. But in Amish homes, it's a harvest staple, served at Thanksgiving, Sunday dinners, or any time apples are gathered in bushels. Some families top it with crumbs, others with a full crust. But the heart of the recipe is always the same. Dried apples, slow patience, and love passed down through generations. One slice feels like stepping back in time, a flavour that's humble, homemade, and unforgettable. 23. Egg noodle pudding. This one might surprise you. Egg noodle pudding. Sounds unusual, right? But in Amish kitchens, it's a common comfort food, not a curiosity. They take simple boiled egg noodles, left over from soups or stews, and bake them into a rich custard made of eggs, milk, and spices. There are actually 2 versions. The sweet kind gets cinnamon, nutmeg, and sugar, then bakes until puffed and golden, almost like a bread pudding, but with noodles. The savoury version swaps sugar for salt, pepper, onions, and sometimes cheese. More like a casserole than a dessert. Both start the same way. Cooked noodles mixed with beaten eggs and warm milk. The mixture is poured into a buttered dish and baked slowly until it sets into a soft, rich pudding. It's simple, thrifty, and versatile. Serve it warm for dessert, or make the savoury style to go alongside meat and vegetables. In a world that wastes leftovers, the Amish turned plain noodles into a dish that's both creative and comforting. And once you try it, you'll understand why it stood the test of time. 24. Whoopie pies. If there's one Amish treat that has truly taken on a life of its own, it's the whoopie pie. And here's a little secret. You can thank the Amish for inventing it. The first bite tells you everything. 2 soft, round chocolate cakes, slightly springy, moist, and rich with cocoa, sandwiching a thick, fluffy filling. Not frosting, not whipped cream, something magical in between. A sweet, creamy mixture of butter, sugar, marshmallow creme, and vanilla that spreads smoothly and squishes just enough when you bite down. Kids call them moon pies. Grown-ups enjoy them with coffee. And, in Amish country, you'll see them everywhere, packed in lunchboxes, lined up at church suppers, or sold at roadside stands. Sure, grocery stores sell boxed versions, but those are nothing like the real deal. The Amish bake them fresh, by hand, and they taste 10 times better than the expensive gourmet ones you'll find in city cafes. Whoopie pies travel well, stay fresh for days, and somehow taste even better the next morning. The name itself has a story. Some say Amish farmers would yell, "Whoopie!" when they discovered one in their lunch. Whatever the truth, one thing's certain. This isn't just dessert. It's joy you can hold in your hands. Once you taste a real Amish whoopie pie, Oreos will feel like a poor substitute. 25. Warm milk cake. Now, here's a recipe that proves you don't need a pantry full of ingredients to bake something comforting. The Amish call it warm milk cake, sometimes sour milk cake, or poor man's cake. It uses no butter and no eggs, just milk, a splash of vinegar, flour, sugar, cinnamon, and baking soda. That's it. First, the milk is warmed until it's cosy, not boiling. A little vinegar is stirred in, turning it into instant buttermilk. Then everything gets mixed in one bowl with just a spoon. No mixer, no gadgets. The batter is thick, almost like oatmeal. But once it goes into the oven, magic happens. After half an hour, you pull out a golden, fragrant cake that fills the house with the smell of cinnamon and warmth. The edges are soft, the centre is tender, almost pudding-like, and it's best eaten straight from the pan while still steaming. Top it with whipped cream, drizzle it with cold milk, or just enjoy it plain. It costs barely $2 to make, but it feels like a big hug on a rainy day. In Amish homes, this cake isn't about celebration. It's about comfort, a reminder that the best desserts often come from the simplest starts. 26. Amish apple butter. This isn't just jam, it's autumn in a jar. The Amish make apple butter by cooking apples low and slow, sometimes for an entire day, until they turn deep brown and silky smooth. Spiced with cinnamon, cloves, and just a touch of sugar, it spreads like velvet on bread, pancakes, or even warm biscuits. Unlike store-bought jam, it has no chunks, no watery texture, just pure concentrated apple flavour that clings to your spoon. One taste, and you'll understand why Amish pantries are stocked with rows of this rich spread every fall. It's sweet, spiced, and cosy enough to turn a plain slice of toast into something unforgettable. 27. Amish peanut butter spread. If you've ever been to an Amish gathering, you've probably seen a big bowl of this stuff sitting on the table. It looks simple, but it's addictive. Made from peanut butter whipped together with marshmallow fluff and corn syrup, it's creamy, sweet, and surprisingly versatile. Kids slather it on bread for sandwiches, adults drizzle it over pancakes, and some even eat it straight from the spoon. It's cheaper than Nutella, easier than frosting, and lasts forever in a jar. Once you try it, regular peanut butter feels boring. 28. Amish pickled red beets and eggs. This is one of those recipes that looks unusual but tastes incredible. Hard-boiled eggs are soaked in a brine of vinegar, sugar, and sliced red beets. After a few days, the eggs turn a brilliant purple on the outside and pick up a tangy sweet flavour that's like nothing you've tried before. They're served at picnics, church suppers, and family gatherings. Bright, colourful, and packed with flavour. They cost almost nothing to make, last for weeks in the fridge, and are the kind of snack that makes you say, "Why haven't I been doing this all along?" 29. Amish Shoefly pie. This one is legendary. Imagine a pie filled with sticky, gooey molasses topped with a crumbly, buttery streusel. That's Shoefly pie. It got its name because the sweet molasses filling was so tempting that families had to literally shoo flies away while it cooled on the windowsill. The texture is part cake, part pie, with a deep caramel flavour that lingers on your tongue. Rich but simple, it was once considered a breakfast dish with coffee. Today, it's an Amish classic that proves dessert doesn't need chocolate to be decadent. 30. Amish chicken corn soup. If comfort had a flavour, this would be it. Amish chicken corn soup is made with tender chicken, sweet corn, hard-boiled eggs, and homemade noodles, all simmered in a golden broth. It's thick, hearty, and served in giant bowls that warm you from the inside out. Unlike canned soup, it's not watery. It's loaded with chunks of meat and vegetables, the kind of soup that eats like a meal. In Amish homes, this isn't just food, it's medicine for tired bodies, cold nights, and long days in the fields. One bowl, and you'll understand why it's been loved for generations. So there you have it, 30 Amish recipes that prove you don't need a restaurant or fancy equipment to eat well. These dishes are affordable, practical, and packed with comfort. More than food, they're traditions. Recipes passed down through generations that bring families together around the table. The Amish remind us that good cooking doesn't come from rare ingredients. It comes from care, memory, and a little creativity with what you already have in your kitchen. And the best part? You don't need a farm, a horse-drawn buggy, or a giant family to make them. Just a skillet, a bit of love, and maybe the courage to try using lard. So if you're already craving that sugar cream pie or wondering what real Whoopie pies taste like, go ahead and give one of these recipes a try. And before you leave, hit that like button. It helps more food lovers discover these hidden gems. Tell me in the comments, which recipe are you making first? Funeral pie? Whoopie pies?